What is the court case exactly?
Well, the court case is a trade secret case that Waymo brought against Uber. That's the kind of basic underlying claim that Waymo has brought. It's turned into, it's the most complicated lawsuit I've followed in 10 years or more of legal journalism because it's got so many different moving pieces. The most kind of interesting and kind of complicated piece of this is that Anthony Levandowski, the engineer who has moved from Waymo a long time ago to Uber, is at the center of the case, but he's not a defendant. And so that's kind of the most interesting piece of this, and it's created a lot of ripple effects. That's the basic claim of the lawsuit. It's a trade secret theft, but there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, Alex, let me come to you and get your take on it. This employee obviously is involved in fights, and now obviously human resources is involved, and Uber hasn't maybe been the best at human resource management. How is it doing here? How is it faring?
Basically, Uber had said to Levandowski that they expected him to be part of the defense and to testify in the case, and Levandowski took the fifth and said, I do not want to do anything which might incriminate myself. The thing that is interesting here is that it comes after a year, which is 2016, when at the start of the year, GM paid a lot of money for a startup called Cruise, $580 million. And all of a sudden, there are a lot of top engineers at places like Google and Uber and Tesla who say, you know, they're earning decent money, but I could get a massive payday if I strike out and make my own company. And of course, Levandowski was a beneficiary of this. He left Google, started a company called Otto, which Uber then acquired for $700 million. Now that poses a sort of big competitive threat to these self-driving companies. They've got to try and retain this top talent and not end up paying through the nose to acquire companies just to retain the talent.
Joel, I mean, Uber and Levandowski were presenting this united front in this fight against Waymo's claims. Does this indicate a possible split between Uber and Levandowski?
It does. It really does. And this can be traced back to the judge who, since the beginning of the case, has been really intensely annoyed, is a nice word, for explaining his position or his reaction to Levandowski taking the Fifth Amendment, asserting his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination, and Uber's refusal until now to force him to cooperate and either forfeit that Fifth Amendment assertion of his constitutional rights and make him cooperate by turning over the files that the judge is convinced he took wrongly, illegally. So for the longest time, I mean, this lawsuit was filed in February, and it's been moving so fast. But since March, which in this case seems like kind of ancient history, the judge has just insisted that Uber do more, and it has resisted until now. And finally, I think the pressure that the judge has exerted on Uber and Levandowski kind of has forced that bond to break, and we're going to see it's going to get more interesting now. But yeah, that's what's happened. The judge has broken the bond that until now was very strong.
Alex, the last question. I mean, what stood out to me was this $250 million figure that Levandowski essentially has lost by being fired. I mean, A, how did we come to this figure? And B, why won't he be paid a penny?
Well, the deal to acquire Otto, as far as we understand it, part of it was, of course, upfront payment for the company, but there were certain rewards built in, and that's a way of kind of giving these employees golden handcuffs to ensure they don't leave. Now, these kind of rewards and options pay out over a number of years. Inevitably, then, if he leaves, he's not there for a number of years and doesn't get the rewards of that golden handshake. And so that's why this extra payday that he might have been in line for is no longer going to be coming.